The World Cup just got a whole new math problem. 104 matches, 48 teams, 39 days. That's not an upgrade. That's basically a different tournament wearing the same jersey. And here's the part nobody's talking about. This new format almost got scrapped before it even started, because FIFA's first idea was so bad it could have broken the entire competition. Stick around, because by the end of this, you'll know exactly why your bracket is about to get a lot more complicated. Quick refresher. From 1998 all the way to Qatar 2022, the World Cup had 32 teams, 64 matches, clean, simple. Everyone kind of knew the shape of it. That era is over. For the first time since 1998, FIFA has fundamentally redesigned the tournament, expanding from 32 teams to 48, increasing the total matches from 64 to 104. That's not a small bump, that's 40 extra games. This sounds simple. It isn't. In theory, more teams just means more football. In practice, this was about something bigger: access. For years, smaller football nations felt shut out. Countries in Africa, Asia, the Caribbean, and the Middle East often missed out despite improving. So FIFA opened the door wider. Now nations that have basically never sniffed a World Cup get a real shot. Countries like Jordan, Uzbekistan, Cape Verde, or Curacao now have a much more realistic path to qualification. That's genuinely cool. It's also, conveniently, a money machine. But we'll get there. Here's where it gets interesting. FIFA had a wild plan first. They almost went with 16 groups of just 3 teams each. Why'd that get killed? That plan was abandoned over concerns it would encourage match fixing in the final group fixture, with both teams able to engineer a result that suited them. 2 teams could shake hands on a score before kickoff, and both walked through. FIFA looked at that and went, yeah, absolutely not. So they landed on something safer. FIFA considered a 16-group setup early on, but settled on 12 groups of 4 teams, labeled A through L. Every team plays 3 matches in the group stage. The same workload as in previous editions, just way more groups doing that job at once. Now here's the piece that actually changes how teams play. It's not just the top 2 from each group moving on anymore. The new 48-team format also allows the 8 best third-place teams to qualify for the round of 32. So finishing third doesn't automatically send you home. You're still alive as long as you're one of the better thirds across the whole tournament. And this actually fixes an old problem. Only 4 of the 12 thirds are eliminated in the group stage, which keeps late matchday group games competitive even when second place is out of reach. Remember those boring final group games where nothing was on the line? Way fewer of those now. You know the type. The ones where both teams just pass the ball around for 90 minutes like they're stalling for a bus. Those are dying out. This is the big structural add. A round that has literally never existed in World Cup history before this year. The round of 32 is the most visible structural innovation of the 2026 format. It slots in right after the groups and before the round of 16. So the bracket now goes groups, then round of 32, then the classic path. Round of 16, quarters, semis, third place game, final. The winners will play 8 matches in all. That's a brutal number. Win it all this year and you basically played an entire extra tournament stacked inside the tournament. Let's be honest about the other reason this happened. The 2026 tournament will jump from 64 matches to 104, giving broadcasters and sponsors far more inventory than previous editions. FIFA is reportedly expecting revenues close to $9 billion during this World Cup cycle. $9 billion. That's not a rounding error. That's a small country's GDP. Critics say the expansion is driven by money and not football development. FIFA insists both things can happen at the same time. They're probably both a little right. More money and more global access aren't mutually exclusive. But let's not pretend the billion-dollar number is an accident. Just to put this in perspective, we're talking about a genuinely massive footprint, hosted across 16 venues in the United States, Canada, and Mexico from June 11th to July 19th, 2026. This edition spans 39 days, longer than any World Cup in history. 3 countries, 16 cities, 39 days. That's not a tournament anymore. That's basically a summer-long occupation of North America. So let's loop back. 104 matches, 48 teams, 1 brand new round nobody's ever seen before. And it all comes down to one sentence. FIFA didn't just add more games. They redesigned how teams survive to play them. So here's the question worth sitting with. Does more access to the World Cup make it better, or does it just make it bigger? Drop your prediction for who's lifting the trophy in the comments.